Hello, everyone. Hey, it worked this time.
Hey!
Welcome on back to Melos Machina, and welcome to episode 50.
The diamond episode.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
You know, we just hit
We
50,
need a diamond
50 months as a channel, right? Or 60.
60, almost 61 now.
5 years, half a 100
Yeah.
episodes of Melos already.
That's where all my energy went.
Yeah.
Welcome in, everyone. We hope that you have had a fantastic week. We are back again to continue our adventures in Jowdek. Adventures. But the adventures that cannot go past curfew. Which, on that note, I suppose, a quick announcement. Hello, everyone. We are obviously based in the Los Angeles area. We are safe. We are sound. A reminder to not give in to misinformation. Stay vigilant in researching things that are going on because, yeah, some not so great stuff is happening here. But in many cases, it is not as bad as media is showing.
Media on both sides.
Exactly. So, yeah, do your due diligence and do more than a quick Google. But, yeah, again, we are all here, and we are going to continue to be here and do the work that needs to be done.
Damn right.
Well said.
So,
Gremlin laugh.
with that being said, also, another announcement, a continuing message from our sponsor of Melos Machina, Cantrip Candles.
Speaking of burning things down.
Candles with an alibi.
Cantrip Candles, thank you for continuing your support here in episode 50 of Melos Machina. It is Pride Month. This was announced after last week's episode, but introducing the pre-order for Backgrounds. You have Farmer and Noble. We've got Tomas Hilson with notes of hay bales, sawdust, fresh herbs, worn leather, and sweat. And Prince Victor of Carpathia. Cologne, incense, florals, crushed resin, and lavish spices. This is a very new departure for Cantrip Candles, where these are characters who have some entangling romances.
Oh,
Pride.
Breaking
I have
those
some
glass
sneak
barriers.
peeks into the storyline.
Sneak sniff.
You'll love it. So go to cantripcandles.com, pre-order those, use our code APAC at checkout, and our link that will be going through chat. I don't know why. Wherever it is.
Wherever the chat is.
To get 10% off of your code, and we get a little bit of kickback since this is an affiliate link for us. So thank you so much, Cantrip Candles, a queer-owned and operated business here in LA, who's also fine. We're all fine, guys.
We'll say it enough, it'll
Fine
be true.
is relative.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, the sweat from the candles is a scent and not
Who's
your own
sweat?
that you're like pouring into
A
it.
little bit of both. Secret
These
ingredients.
candles are hot.
Oh, they get the hot throw.
What is happening?
Throw me into the hay.
I did very much have a George Takei moment of just seeing the post and going, oh my.
Listen, the artist.
Well done.
That's all I'm gonna say is
Look, I haven't
thank
seen
you.
it.
I was gonna say that's a Ben approved sign.
Signed, sealed, delivered, best day on the job ever.
I'm literally looking this up right now. So
Y'all had a
Literally.
tough job to top Hot Orc Summer, and
I
well,
must know.
I think you've done it.
I still have a sticker from Hot Oak Summer on
Yeah.
I do love
Speaking
Hot
of not hot orc anything, Scott,
Back to you.
back to you.
Oh no, that Venture is now swarming with hot orcs.
Oh
it's
shit!
That's the house we're actually going. The reason he
Okay,
hasn't,
wait.
The reason he hasn't been at work is because he's been hanging out with all his hot orc buddies.
He's on the Pride Flotilla on the
Orcs?
Conderflow right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Hot Orc Summer in the house.
How hot was the orc
Oh.
that you picked up Lark Calder's order from?
Yeah. I mean,
Does Duathi?
it is. Yeah. Was Duathi having a Hot Orc Summer overall? No.
I mean, Duathi did turn into smoke afterwards because they're getting quite hot.
Yeah.
Can confirm art is spicy.
With all of that being said, friends, are you ready to continue in tonight's adventure?
Oh Lord. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Will there be shirtless farmers?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I can only plan so
No
much.
guarantees.
When last we met our adventurers, the majority of the party had entered into the collection owned by Lark Calder, Aaron, Finn, and Icon, going inside to question him, and with the plan of being more upfront and honest with the knowledge that they had. Andy and Duathi taking some time to stay out and about, keep an eye on things, keep a couple of extra cards close to the chest, and to discuss seasons and snowmen.
Mostly snow.
This is the plot. Now.
Finn, Aaron, and Icon having a long conversation with Lark, leading into discussions as to smuggling, importing of powerful and potentially dangerous goods, who they would belong to and at what cost, and also the dangers that can come with this industry. The conversation seemed to go well. As the party then left, after. The party left after soft agreeing to be a fetcher for Lark and keeping an eye out for things that he might be interested in, and being given their first map of the countryside. Well, it's probably in one of the cubbies.
This is important.
Map.
The party then reconvened outside, and before having a chance to head to the safe house to decompress and discuss, Cindy arrived. Nervous that arrests were being made at the base of the bridge, and delivering news that she was still unable to find her friend Dunley, though his house seemed off in a manner. After giving the party addresses both for Dunley and Ryder's homes, and after a brief and slightly bristled conversation with Cindy, parted ways and headed to the Skytram to head to the Lower Docks District once again. Now, as the party reconvenes, you see the main entrance to the upper Skytram dock. And you can see the Skytram, or at least one of the two, making its way. It seems that you are catching it right as the arrival of one of the trams is approaching.
That's good. So, are we gonna go look for Ryder first? And
I think
then-
it's pertinent that we at least investigate whether or not he's been home or other.
Dunley?
Oh,
Mhm.
sorry, Dunley. I think Dunley's
Yeah.
actually more important.
Just go straight.
Then Ryder.
Yeah.
Cindy
He
gave
was the
us-
one that lived near the Sky Tram.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have both their addresses.
Yeah.
If we needed to track down Ryder after, we could.
Yeah, I think Dunley is the first stop.
And if we have to break in to check for a body or other clues, probably better if Ryder doesn't come along.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Since the bridge is still under some sort of repair, is there more traffic around the Skytram as of late?
You don't see too many people heading towards it. In fact, you seem to be the only ones heading in the direction of the upper loading area.
Okay.
But looking over at the tram as it's approaching the dock, at least from the outside, it looks like it's actually fairly full.
Sure. Okay.
Is there, on our way this direction, does there seem to be any presences of, like, other graffiti? Or recently tried to scrub up graffiti.
Sure. So far along the walk, most of the path to the upper tram station has taken you along the cliff's edge. Not a lot, though there's a good amount of wall space where graffiti could be done. You haven't noticed anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Additionally, along this path, you haven't noticed too many patrols. There seems to be almost a return to business as normal. However, there is a bit of a stale stench to the air.
Get that. Well, I mean, hopefully it's business as usual down there too.
Well, the business is mostly shipping, so I can't imagine it is if the curfew's still on.
Yeah.
At least down at the docks.
How long is this going to go on?
I imagine until they feel they've apprehended the people responsible for the attack.
Or until they feel they can't keep the citizens pinned
Appeased.
down anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should. I mean, I don't really want to, talk to them or anything, but I know, Aaron, I know you kind of have things to do with these people. Would it be helpful if you went to them and was like, hey, help is good, but they're probably not here anymore?
Well, there are certainly things that we know that could be beneficial to them. Let's discuss this more on the tram. I've been ruminating on that possibility.
Okay.
Well, Dunley first.
Yes, of
and
course.
then-
No, but there's
Yeah.
I would rather speak freely.
Yeah.
And not
No,
have to worry about
I
anybody looking over my
agree.
shoulder. So,
I don't suppose you have Featherfall prepared again today?
oh, always.
Okay, good. Still, getting on that tram again makes me a little nervous. I trust you did a good job fixing it. Just, well, it's not every day you jump out of a 300-foot airborne suspended traveling car.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
It actually would have been really fun if it hadn't been, the city was on fire.
Right?
I would do that again if anybody wanted to. I just would rather not do it with, the city on fire.
It looked like you had a lot more fun when you did it in Gladen, to our horror, but your amusement.
A party trick is not necessarily a life-saving scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we should be able to descend rather comfortably. So,
Hopefully we don't have to. We'll just get on. It will go down. We'll get off. Maybe Dunley has just been taking a really long nap.
Mm-hmm.
unless he also repaired a bridge to the level of Bogdan.
Yeah.
But I understand where your head's at. I appreciate the optimism.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Yeah, no delays.
All right.
Entering into the Skytram facility, the main floor is just as you remember. You see the single desk, which behind you see the young gnome that had helped out. Andy, you were familiar with Brihanna.
Yes. Wait, sorry. Above table.
Mhm.
Was Dunley's house
Down.
down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the Skytram down.
Oh, we went up. We went up. Okay.
Yeah, we had to go up to the collection, and then we're like,
Got it.
shit, we gotta go back down and talk to
got-
Dunley.
Got it. I got confused. Okay, never mind. Okay. Hello, Brihanna.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Welcome in. It's nice to see you again.
Good to see you in better circumstances.
Yeah. The free tram is still in place.
Okay.
So no need for a ticket today. Also, I wouldn't charge you for one
Well-
if it still wasn't. But
That's very kind.
heading down, I take it.
Mm-hmm. Did Castian ever come back?
Brianna looks down and no.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I think at this point I've just assumed the worst, and he was a lovely person, and he was a friend. But you know, the city lost a lot.
Yeah. Well, I hope he turns up somehow.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Not holding my breath though.
I get it.
At this point, you hear the docking of the tram above, and a sudden eruption of murmurs as voices from the people riding the tram begin to echo down the stairs, and the footsteps you hear, and you begin to see people cascading down the stairs heading outside. Well, it's here. Feel free to head on up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be departing shortly.
Sorry about your friend.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to see you're all safe.
Thanks.
Suppose so.
Well, bye.
Bye.
As she then turns and to folks who are coming down the stairs. And, bye. Thanks for riding. Safe travels. Have a good day. And
Okay.
Up to the platform.
As we're going up, quietly enough that I'm not trying to, like, talk about super dark subjects loudly, but also loud enough my friends hear.
I mean, I know there were a lot of explosions and things, and I know we talked about this a little bit last time, that we really don't know how many people were lost during all this, but
No.
The timing is also weird.
Yeah, that's kind of what gets to me. It could be that he ran out trying to help, and the worst happened, or
I think if enough people are noting the strange absence of their colleagues around the time of the detonations,
yeah.
we need to take note of that.
Yeah.
If it was a coincidence, they wouldn't be talking about it.
Was it Brianna or her associate that greeted us that
Well, it
that
was
night
both
when we got
of
on the
them.
tram?
there were two.
They were
It
both
was
there.
both of them.
We descended, and then upon ascension,
When I got back there, only Brihanna was there.
so sometime between our descension to the fight to the dry dock 2 and the detonation.
Yeah.
And when you helped repair the tram, was it sabotage from up top?
No, I don't, just above table, I don't believe so. Was it more that the system seemed to freak out from the explosions?
it was hard to figure out.
It was hard to, yeah. I really don't know what caused the tram to stop.
Right. Well, opportunity is certainly there to slip away and get access to. Well,
Yeah.
look, I shouldn't pin anything on a stranger.
No,
But,
it's hard to know. He just wasn't there.
I do imagine that the deacons and the city guard are assembling a list of missing persons in order to account for casualties. So,
Yeah.
if we come across and have a chance to interface with them, we might be able to cross-reference people that we've heard have gone missing and see if they can be accounted for positively or
Yeah.
negatively, either way. But we'll continue that once the doors are closed.
Yeah.
So if the Skytram is docked and ready, I think.
Yeah, you are ready to board.
Okay.
And we're the only ones.
At this time, currently, yes.
Okay.
Is there a closed doors button?
Just to be those people.
There does not seem to be any sort of controls aside from the panel that
Yeah,
you
I'm
had
not
access
gonna
to.
mess with anything.
Which, as you look up at that panel, you do notice the scratch marks around it. This is the same tram that you jumped off of.
Cool. Cool, great.
Well, that's
fun.
auspicious.
Mhm.
A few moments go by. No one else seems to join you. Till eventually the doors close and the silence greets you.
So everyone's coming up and no one seems to want to go down.
Collective sigh of relief.
What?
The tram begins to move.
Everyone wants to go up and no one wants to go down?
Based on what Cindy said, it might be a mess down there.
Oh.
Well, it's just more of the physical grunt workers, so they're fairly busy right now.
Well, and apparently protests being quashed by law enforcement.
Right, that as well.
Right. So just mind yourself.
Yeah. I shouldn't have freaked Cindy out so bad, but
No, I get where you were coming from, and she deserves to know what she was getting into, but
yeah, because we're
yeah, I think it was also just easy for her to jump to conclusions.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we should watch ourselves, be discreet, but you've been thinking?
Well, the deacons and those leading the city guard obviously are treating the Flowforge as ground zero. They must. The amount of security surrounding it, as well as it's the site of many gruesome murders, means that they have their work cut out for them. Whether or not they've been able to follow any leads from the cultist bodies who remained in the cellars of the Flowforge is up to them. I doubt there were any obvious trails left behind by Corin and his like, though deacons are powerful and they have skills beyond even my comprehension. So if they felt this is the best case, the best action to at least do the most they can to ensure that that members of this cult were not escaping through conventional means, then that's their tactics. Now, in terms of approaching them and involving ourselves or educating them on our experiences, that is a much more calculated risk we need to take. Obviously, some of us were right in the thick of it, and our experience and knowledge might be a boon. We might be able to garner some favor with them in order to leave and return to Melos Machina under your charge. However, they might also recruit us to follow what information we have. We need to be prepared for that option and that offer, the same way Lark offered opportunity to us in that regard. So, before
Yes.
we do so, we would want to calculate our availability and our willingness to pursue these cultists to the fullest, if needed.
There's also a third potential, which is the reaction Captain Fury, or specifically Fury's guards, had to when we tried to offer helpful information and found ourselves in an interrogation. So, at least we had a rapport with Fury.
Yeah.
Unless you know these deacons, I'm hesitant to come right to them.
I do not know anybody personally in the Deacons, no. There's no chance of that. The only sense that I could offer in that regard is to offer assistance that nobody else in the city has offered them so far. It's been a few days with what seems like no public announcement of a development in apprehending the culprits. So perhaps they've met a dead end, and they're looking for that last piece of information that we have.
Or perhaps they're looking for anyone to pin this on. Just playing devil's advocate here.
At some point, an attack that's that calculated, there were cult members here already. There's likely to continue to be
absolutely.
more cult members here. They'll find some, I'm sure, but
We also have something we didn't have in Riversmeet, and that is the backing of Lady Elaine in regards to our opposition to the cult.
yes. And we also now have the backing of Lark Calder,
Well,
sort of.
didn't seem like he was willing to stick his neck out for us, and we did ask if he had any friendlies in the order we could talk to and share this info, and he was also tight-lipped there.
Not in that way so much as if we need to pull assistance from him. I don't doubt that he would.
Which you two, Andy and Dorothy, I think it's pertinent we catch you up on everything that happened inside.
Yes,
But
please.
I think it's safe to say that while Lark's intentions are questionable, I don't believe his outcome to be malicious, though he did admit and confess to trafficking the core shard to Overseer Castavan.
He did.
Yes.
He did. It took some convincing, but the words came right from his mouth. And it is something that needs to be dealt with. He seems reluctant to deal or to continue supplying any core that he comes across. However, doesn't excuse his actions so far. So,
Yeah.
Did he?
as I said, we have our man.
Did he say why he did that?
There was a interested party.
And
And-
quite a lot of gold offered in exchange. Money will do a lot to people.
Surprising with Castavan.
So
I
he's
mean-
just kind of a person who's interested in money and nothing else.
He
Seemed
seemed
like it.
vague on his ethical standings
Oh.
on when it comes to dangerous materials. He was a little cagey about that aspect of the questioning.
Which makes me wonder if he even knows anybody in the Order that he does report suspicious material to. If he knowingly had this in his possession and did not turn it over to the Order, as
And
he
he-
claims he does.
tested it and knew it was dangerous. He had some small pieces before that he knew what it could do.
Did he say why Castavan wanted it?
Collector.
Right. I
Which-
shouldn't be surprised.
Does he know we have it?
No.
He still thinks it's lost.
He did offer several outcomes if we were to recover it. So,
Like-
Find the second.
Sure, but that just means he'd sell it to someone else.
We did ask about that.
he committed to better vetting protocols.
Yeah, but what does that?
I don't think we need to give
Meaningless.
it back
No,
to
you're,
him.
you're right.
No.
But there is an offer there if we need more from him. We do have, I guess, the literal power in that regards.
I guess I don't know. I didn't interact with him a lot, but to be perfectly honest with you, I kind of liked him.
I am
Yeah,
surprised
I
how much I liked him walking out of there.
I haven't really spoke with him, but I guess my attitude is if he was this careless once, knowing what it could do, what's to stop him from being so again?
He seemed truly surprised. Surprised, maybe not the word. Saddened to hear about Silas's death.
And
I don't
the-
think he knew that Silas would be that curious.
He didn't know Silas was dead, and Silas truly
Yeah.
was the careless one here. And my read on Overseer Casavan, having only met him once, is that he wasn't a dangerous man. He would have put that thing on a shelf, and that's probably the safest place for it to be. So-
I'm not. I think just dealing in this in general is dangerous.
It is.
It's also a conflict of interest for both of us, as
Well,
he acknowledged. So I'm not saying we do anything more with Locke for now, but
Okay.
it did go well. We did get more info,
I mean,
and
that's good.
And he had every opportunity to lie, and he seemed truthful.
yeah.
So I don't trust the guy so much as what we already have, but
I guess that's more of, obviously he was doing some things that, he didn't want other people to know about, but I mean, aren't we doing that sometimes too? I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
very much so do Othi.
yeah,
No, that's true.
he just was always seemed kind of honest in a way.
Strangely, yes. He's a businessman at the end of the day. I mean, he tried to cut us a deal on an item or money, and
Yeah.
He's
I
not.
mean, look, I appreciate that he's honest and that you'll, in a way, trust him and that he gave us the information that we were looking for.
yeah.
I guess, inherently don't trust anyone that would deal in such a dangerous substance.
As Andy says this, the tram goes dark as you pass through the tower that is the lighthouse.
But
It's also powerful.
what about your friend the blacksmith? What about Bogdan?
What about Chauncey?
Well, Chauncey is, apparently people decided you could have that, but
Yeah, that's more controlled. I mean,
what about his arm?
I get what you're posing, Dorothy. I just feel like, I mean, I think Bogdan is worried about his brother. He seems a bit of a mad scientist type.
For what it's worth. I'm not trying to necessarily
No,
pose
but
anything, as I'm just sort of... I'm confused.
No, I get it. I think it's more Mogden used it for something specific. I don't know if he's using it for other things, probably,
Yeah.
but he is a person that knows how to harness it and use it for something that's good, while I don't, even though, like you said, it seems he experimented with the shards to know their power, but to just kind of give it to the highest bidder,
Yeah.
it feels a little, I'm trying not to judge entirely, but there's something that is off.
Then I will. It's negligent.
Yeah.
It is.
Agreed.
At the end of the day, it is negligent. He made a mistake. He has now understood the repercussions of his mistake. None of us are perfect
No.
here, and I'm not defending him. I do think it's been a long time since the Ashen Veil dropped.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since the walls opened, and just because something was the way it had been done for so long doesn't... Sometimes it takes people to break the rules a little bit.
No, I get that.
Bogdan saved, and I'll point to the bridge, with what Calder is dealing with.
From this angle, as you point, you can see the very clear difference between where the old bridge was and the new reconstructed bridge that is still under work. But pointing it out, you can see the perfect skeletal frame of the bridge that Bogdan created.
This is me again. I'm sort of, deeply speculating. Because I know I was sort of curious if maybe something like the core had caused the explosions.
No.
Did you think he
I-
sold some to the cult or anything?
I
He-
kind of pressed him on that.
And he pointed out some good points about the type of explosion
Mm-hmm.
at this bridge. It's not the type of explosion we saw down in the warehouse basement.
Right.
And
Oh,
Yeah.
he was pretty sure that core could not do this kind of damage at this
Okay.
scale, at least without leaving some other kind of evidence.
well then I guess that's still a mystery too. Is what caused the explosions, right?
Yeah.
It did also cause
Yes.
me to think about if it were to fall in their hands, what they could do with it. And I don't want to think about
No.
that.
What kind of explosion then does core do?
I mean, it's kind of obliterative in
There
a
was
way.
nothing left of a man.
You ever
Oh.
seen a dandelion disperse in the wind?
Duathi does that.
What a horrifying
Ah,
metaphor.
no?
Well, imagine a very light, airy, papery substance under the blast of a harsh wind. Sounds like
He,
that.
yeah.
Whereas
And it was less of a fire explosion than,
He said percussive.
yeah,
That's what stood out to me. Like it's just as destructive, just not as fiery.
yeah. Like we said, there wasn't anything left of him other than maybe some pieces of cloth.
some scrap.
Something tells me the amount of core it would take to do this kind of damage to a city is downright unobtainable, if not priceless.
Well,
Now I'm
that
concerned
was
though.
a small shard that,
Yeah,
But
And-
we have the big one.
but Mogden
bigger.
has some sort of access.
well,
So-
enough to power a mechanical arm like
Mhm.
that, which is, I would say, closer to a Chauncey piece of core.
When we get back to the safe house, let's add that to the 3
Sure.
sources of core that we know about.
Yeah.
Technically 4, but one it's
Well,
obliterated.
and then the question is, where are they getting it from?
Yeah.
Because it's so heavily regulated and no longer available.
Did
He
it
would
come
not
from the
reveal
same
his
place?
He would not reveal his source when I asked him that direct question, and it is troubling whether or not it was accidental discovery or a reliable, repeatable occasion is something I'm very curious about.
Yeah.
You know, you all said it was, it's a piece, like a broken piece. Is it like something that, because I know you said you can't get it out of the ground anymore? Is it the thing that it's like an old piece of a thing?
So,
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that someone had a whole piece and broke it into pieces.
it's
to-
Chauncey has a full core, right?
Yeah.
Apparently what we recovered is a pretty large core shard. And if Locke is to be believed, this is the biggest one he's ever come across.
Yeah. So that could power or a whole something of whatever we've got. Would that just power something so much bigger than Chauncey?
No, it takes the whole one to power a Chauncey.
Yeah, but
so-
if Chauncey has a whole one,
Yeah.
but this piece, this core shard, is the biggest Lark has ever seen. What is the whole?
a Chauncey. So this shard, I gesture with
Yeah.
your fingers to show the like size of it. Obviously, I don't have it out, but this would not power Chauncey.
No.
This is, holds some magic potential for sure.
But do we know how big the whole thing would have been?
I mean, I would know.
If
Or-
you took more time to study it, you might be able to extrapolate.
I've spent the most time looking at this thing for sure.
No, just like what went into Chauncey.
Oh yeah, you know the
Yeah.
size of cores that
Right. So how big?
Chauncey's core is about the size
Like
of
baseball
like
size?
like an apple.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, apple sized.
So, if we were to break Chauncey's core, which we would never do,
No.
precious baby.
I pat him on the head.
I got like legit nervous. No, we would never do that. Those pieces would be smaller.
Yeah.
So
Potentially.
I don't know how you would even do that safely.
Safely.
is that what powers the trains? This never interested me until
My parents would know, but it's not anything that I've ever inquired to, considering this so far. It's not anything that's been of pertinence in my life. However, it's
Would
entirely possible that cores linked in combination could power something as large as the train system. It's what the Order was creating and therefore regulating.
GM,
Yes.
would I know if the train is powered by core?
Give me a history check.
Okay.
And I will say, with everything that you have, go do that at advantage.
Oh, well.
I was
Okay.
like, I want to be a bard so bad. I'd be like, bardic inspiration.
Well, my first roll was already good. So that's a 24.
24. Yes, the rail is absolutely run by core. Large vehicles and anything automated is
Right, that's
typically run by core.
Is that an even bigger?
Though you have not.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, because though you haven't seen any in person, you have read over blueprints and the schematics of the core batteries that
Mhm.
run the rails,
Mhm.
and each train has roughly 6 backpack-sized cores.
Okay, so yeah, I know the core does run the trains, and it's a lot. It's 6 that are about this size.
That seems like a lot of people are sitting on a lot of things that are very explosive.
Well, yes.
When managed by the
Yes.
knowledgeable hands, it is less dangerous. It is entirely safe to ride the rails. There's
Yeah.
no chance of a railway suddenly going
No,
boom
but
across
I
the country.
get your
Unless it were-
concern, Dorothy.
Yeah, that's.
Just based
To
on
be
the
fair, all of you sort of have had and I apologize. I didn't mean not to sound rude.
No,
It's,
no.
all of you have had a lot more experience with this stuff than I have. It's what
Well-
I've experienced with it is, at least that's the impression I'm getting, is that all of you are sort of used to the fact that this exists, and my experience with it is it blows up.
But your
No.
first-hand impressions are sometimes more accurate than our predispositions, and you raise an interesting point. A series of unprecedented attacks on the travelways. What would happen if one of those trains was hijacked?
Right. I mean, I think the other thing is, I wonder if the shards are maybe less stable because they are
They
pieces.
are.
They are.
Certainly.
I think, also above table, didn't you establish that this is a raw, unprocessed piece of core as opposed to something that is more refined? That
Well, so that's the distinction we're making. It's like the
Yeah.
core is the full unshattered piece, and then the core shards are what we currently have
I
as the
see.
core shards.
Busted up.
Yeah.
Busted.
So an unstable fragment. You're right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's possible that is a fragment of, one that was broken up, or it could be possible that when it was being mined, there, were shards that would come off that wouldn't be useful.
We need to find out who obtained this and gave it to Kolda.
Yeah,
They'll have
that-
the answers.
Yeah.
We need to find out how to get out of the city.
Then find out where we're going.
On the subject of informing authorities with the valuable information we
Mhm.
might have, you had a pretty successful meeting with the cardinal, did you not?
We made an impression, to say the least.
A good one?
They know our faces and they understand us to be concerned and curious citizens. It's possible there's at least one person, not necessarily the cardinal, but there was a orderly. There was a. I forget his station, but I do remember the
cleric.
The cleric, yeah. There is a cleric there who I bought the incense and materials needed for our spell components that I could probably easily interface with. I'm sure they're busy.
And I could probably easily spend a lot more gold and more.
But what's your line of thinking, Finn?
Well, it's two sides of the same coin, right? The deacons and the cardinals, they're all part of the same order, but something about going to a religious figure instead of a law enforcer easier on the stomach.
I think they would be more keen to hearing our experience with Corin Mall than the deacons would be, since this seems to be a direct affront to them. So
Yeah.
if we approach them as benevolent citizens who want to do right by them, then yes, we could pursue that line of action in their stead or in their name.
Yeah, I feel like that's a safer person to confide in than a deacon.
The deacons and the gods seem to be taking out their frustration, desperation on the public.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of things moving that we're not totally privy to.
At this point, all of your bodies sway slightly as the tram begins to slow.
I do think the guards that showed up as I ran to go put out fires, they ran the other way. They know your faces.
Mm-hmm.
They know that we're not involved in that way, but
Fury saw us putting out fires too.
somebody tried to throw the rest of us into the river, proverbially speaking. So, different circumstances, Finn. But, that being said, we do have slightly more rapport.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly more rapport.
Yeah.
And lots of alibis.
That's fine.
But I still agree. Brother Detrius is probably a good in.
Yeah.
Unless the Cardinal suddenly has time in his probably very busy schedule right now.
Well, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well-
we'll find more information and evidence from Dunley.
Real quick, do you guys remember how many hours I said I had on my
It was 3.
Yeah.
GM? Has it been 3 hours since we walked into the collective?
Ooh, it has been probably an hour and a half
Okay.
since you've gone into
I think it
Calder's
was
place.
you two and
It was Dwathi.
Okay.
Was I?
Okay, just so we know about that status as we can approach. Okay.
And the outside begins to transition into the open air upper section of the lower Skytram station. As slowly the tram comes to a halt and the doors open up.
All right.
Is there a large crowd waiting to board like the last tram full, or?
You do hear conversations happening, however, it appears as though they are downstairs.
Ah, okay. Let's go find his place.
I will follow the directions to the address for Dunley.
Yeah.
That we
Dunley.
were definitely getting.
Dunley.
As you
We
step
just
out of the
walked down the street.
Skytram
Dunley!
and head downstairs, you see a moderate-sized group, maybe not quite enough to fill the tram, but a conglomeration of a few different species, and a gentleman behind the counter nodding to you all. Thank you for riding. Have a good day. All right, all aboard, please. As the group begins to head up, and you leave the station. Find yourselves in the lower docks. The air is a lot cleaner down here. And following the directions given by Cindy, it's a short walk. You leave the interior wall of the Skytram station, taking a left and almost nestled into a corner area in the back against the outer wall of the docks and the Skytram itself. You see the little block on which Cindy said Dunley's home was.
Okay.
As you approach the little set of 3 houses, it's almost like a collection of townhouses. They are 2-story, but very narrow.
Which one?
His is on
This is-
the far right.
Far right. Okay.
There's a front door, a window on this floor, and a large, wide window on the second floor.
Okay. Well, try knocking on the door first.
Yeah, we can. I mean, I feel like Cindy probably.
I know, but worth doing before we
Yeah. I'll
Any of the other options?
take more
put
serious measures.
one hand on handle. The other one, knock, knock, knock.
As you hear it kind of echo into the interior,
I'm gonna jiggle the handle.
it is locked.
Okay.
And there's a window out front on the first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll kind of peek in a little, see if I see anything.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. Whoa, that flew. That's 9.
9. Looking inside, you see what looks to be a small living/dining area.
Mhm.
It appears very simple, not impoverished, but nothing elegant.
Mm-hmm.
And the main area that you are able to see, and you see a table with a single chair set at it. On top of the table, you see what looks like a single place setting for a meal. Still appears to be food on the platter, a couple of flies buzzing around it.
I'm going to go inside now, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just be careful.
I'm going to just open the door, and I'm going to look inside the window and teleport inside.
Okay.
I look all ghostly and weird.
As you hear Duathi's voice, I'm going to go inside now. Looking at the plate, you turn to respond, and Duathi's body
Just go,
vanishes
okay.
and reappears inside the living
Ah!
space. Skeleton first, and then a little bit where the rest of their muscles and skin would be. It's transparent. It is a ghastly version of their own self, and it remains like that.
For about 6 seconds.
As that appears, it begins to walk away, and right as Duathi rounds the corner towards the door, you see their back then begin to reform into their regular body.
So cool.
It's like I just have this weird, like, okay, kind of look on my face. I'm getting more used to it, but it's, I wasn't fully aware that it was happening, so
Yeah, there's usually other things happening.
there
when
was
I
a
go-
bit of a reaction.
Duathi, inside, it is quiet, but you do hear the of 2 flies. The smell
Yeah.
is you do smell a sweet smell of rotting food. And it also is a little musty.
I'm going to tap my stick
Mhm.
and cast Shillelagh. And,
Where are you tapping it?
just on the floor.
On the floor as
Just
the
to cast it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. And and then I'm going to go to the door and see if there's a mechanism that I can unlock or anything.
Sure. As you turn to see the door, you can see there's a handle and there is a keyhole with a key in the lock.
Oh, what? There's
On the inside?
don't love that. Okay.
You get in there?
Mentally, I'll link to Loki. How's it going?
Squirrels in here. There's a key in the lock. It makes me think it was locked from the inside, but his food is also still on the... I'm just going to unlock the door. And then I'm going to unlock the door.
As the door opens, there's the party there.
Hello, everyone. It's gross in here.
Great.
Gross,
Do
how
I
so?
turn into a skeleton? when-
No.
Okay.
Dwelly's special.
The door opens. As those who are standing there, it's not a overwhelming smell, but there is sort of a stale musk to the air.
It's like when you walk into an apartment that you're possibly renting. Just these windows haven't been open in a few days.
Yeah.
Or you accidentally left food in the fridge when you were on vacation.
And that.
Yeah.
I'm going to Druidcraft. Just like a little bit of nice floral in here.
But the key... So the thing that's
key
going
on the inside
There's the key
is
on the inside of
Yeah.
the door, but there's food on the table.
So we're looking for
baffling
a
to
body or a secret escape.
Okay, no offense, clearly none of you have been guards.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get the surroundings, make sure that we're not alone,
Yeah.
or that we are alone.
Not
And-
alone would be better. 'cause
I'll-
there'd be
Well,
deadly
you know what I mean.
here.
I'll stay
I-
at the door.
I can. You take the top floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll scan the first floor.
I'll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You two, you three, close the door. Lock it, please. Stay here.
Do you think a corpse counts as an object to locate?
Just as everybody's like walking away.
There's something to do.
Twitch.
Well,
I mean, it's an...
I will fan out and try and clear the first floor.
Aaron taking the first floor. So the floor plan, as you
Yeah.
see, you have this door directly in front of you with a small wall to your right as you're facing it. Beyond that side is the small living space. Directly behind you is a set of stairs that head up to the upstairs section. So if you were taking the main floor and you are heading upstairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna head upstairs constantly with my back against whatever wall as I go up.
Okay.
near the floor.
And then the two of you.
I'm just staying at the door.
Yeah, I think I'd stay
Inside?
with them.
Yeah, inside.
Dwathi.
I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Screw the spell slot. And I'm just going to cast this, say a few words and do it under my breath as I hold on to my staff and close my eyes and reopen them and sort of see if I see anything right here in this area.
All right. I can. As you head upstairs, immediately when you get to the top, you see it is one long room. Appears to mostly be a bedroom. You can see the large window at the far end that looks out into the street. And as you step up, you realize it's not the tallest of buildings. Even though it is a 2-story, it's maybe 1 3/4 all in all. It is compact living, but still a little spacious. You see a bed in the back corner. It is unmade, and you see a small dresser and a chair that is up against the main window that is looking out over the street that goes almost the full span of the room, and a small kind of end table by it as well. Looks like maybe a place to sit and overlook.
Any curtains on the windows, or is it open and letting?
There are curtains, yes.
Okay.
They are not closed.
Okay.
They are open.
Okay.
Dwathi, as he heads upstairs and your detect magic emanates. Aside from your friends and a glowing Chauncey, there's nothing.
Just keep it up. Yeah. 10 minutes, I think. So I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it up and just kind of poke around the immediate area, but mostly I'm listening if anyone calls for help.
Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
on,
First floor.
on the first floor. Looking in the first floor area, you see this living/dining area, and to the left of you with a small window looking out. And in the back, it appears to be a bit more of a kitchen and washroom. You see a large basin for water, and a fireplace with mostly just ash in it.
Wood ash or paper?
Can I get an investigation check?
I do too. It's all right.
I got this.
I don't.
I got this.
They pulled the God Con. We'll let them do that.
It's,
Have their fun.
And I don't.
I feel good about this. I don't think I need to bump this up. I have an 18.
18 on your investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a general for both of you.
General sweep.
great. Skip his.
Icon, as you look about, you look over in the bed area, you look under it to double check. Looking around the dresser area, there's not a lot of space for any person to hide here. You're quite confident that there is no one here. As you turn to look
Poking
away, you turn back and you place a hand on the bed and just press.
Bounce.
Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
peeking about, looking in the fireplace, it looks like ashen logs that were in there. You see a large pot that is on an iron pivoting arm that is resting over it. The pot is blackened, and inside you see what looks like a solidified stew. It looks hard as a rock.
Okay.
Gross.
How many days has it been? Jesus.
It's been at least 3.
What, 3?
Yeah. 3.
Okay.
Ugh, gross. Are there any personal effects up here?
Looking through the dresser, you see a few articles of clothing. On the table, you see a book that is there along with, it looks like a candle, or at least the remains of a candle in a small candlestick. It is just melted wax that is poured over the table and beginning to encroach on the book.
I mean, I know it's not still melted, but I'll grab the book and make note of, like, it's been a while, but it means he didn't have time as I walk down.
Is it clear? Is anybody in here?
I think we're all alone.
Yeah.
Okay, I cast a spell so I can see magic, so I'm going to just walk through a little bit and see if I see anything else, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, not looking for anything particularly. What do my elven eyes see with detect magic?
Sonar.
Yeah.
Magic sonar.
Yeah.
With detect magic?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a quick pass.
Sure.
See
Quick pass
Yes.
around the whole space. Nothing.
nothing.
Okay, well, I don't see anything magical or anything. It doesn't mean there's not something hiding. It's just not.
Any secondary exits besides the front door?
The only other potentials would be the windows.
Okay. Can I head over to the staircase?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any, like, broom closet or anything underneath the staircase? That might not be obvious to the eye, but I can look for a little bit more intensely.
Actually, as you go up to the staircase, there is not a handle, but a small place where a hand could be inserted.
Okay.
And as you reach your hand in and pull slightly, it does look like the wall gives way.
I don't like it.
I will. This is you said directly under the staircase?
Mhm.
Yeah. I will look for traps.
Okay.
Rogue's got a rogue. That is going to be a 15.
15. As your hand goes into the opening, you very softly feel against for any sort of needles or threads. You feel nothing.
Okay.
You pull it out slightly. You take one of your thieves' tools, pull out a small pronged rod on the end, and push it through the opened crack that could be a doorway.
Mhm.
And you feel no pressure, no resistances.
I will pull and try and open whatever's behind this.
As it opens, inside you see a mop, a bucket.
That's
And a dead
wow.
We found the broom closet.
Okay. He left in a hurry. The candle melted.
Right,
What-
so it could be, like we said with Caston, that he heard the noise and went outside
But then
to
why
help.
would the
And
key
lock the door,
inside
right.
the
That
door?
is the strangest thing to me. But
Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
with the continuation of the 18 sort of being
Sure.
a long standing
Uh-oh.
for
Okay.
this whole space, now in this hallway and taking in the entirety of the room, you look at the floor and the difference in the entry hallway, in the main space, the kitchen or washroom space. And you notice that the floorboards in the transition between the two are unaligned. It is barely perceptible.
I'll kind of just walk over to that area. Folks, we might have found a secondary exit here.
okay.
Okay.
I will do the same procedure with my thieves' tools, and
Trip for them traps.
yeah, check for any type of additional. Like, I want to like try and. Yeah, I want to see like, is this like a hatch? Is this more like a mechanism that will open out some other like how escape roomy is this area?
As you go over and you feel the floorboard, you can feel where it looks like it could be a warping in the floor from moisture. But getting a thumb underneath, you're able to pry, and it gives way far easier than a floorboard should.
Okay.
If you want to check for traps, you can give me another investigation.
24.
Yeah.
The moment that you lift with your thumb, as you look not just where you are holding, but what could be around, immediately you see the outline of a hatch. It's that moment where a perfect slab of metal and that one piece that fits perfectly comes out, and you can see the entire shape that it creates.
Back up, everyone. Back up.
I'd like to look. Detect magic.
I'm gonna like hold up my shield next to Aaron, just kind of like protecting
Just
him.
holding my hammer.
And
Yeah, I'll go for it.
as you look about for any sort of threads, any sort of latches, nothing.
Okay.
There is a moment of resistance, but as you continue to give pressure, in your training you know that resistance to cause a trap has enough of a give, and this starts to give far too much resistance.
Okay.
You realize that it's wedged and stuck,
Huh.
but stuck in the way that just pushing a puzzle piece into a tight puzzle would be.
I have hammer and I imagine I have some sort of crowbar.
I've
What
got
do
a
I
stick.
have?
That's a big
I've got
crowbar.
detect magic up.
Still no magic.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've had wood carvers tools and smith's tools.
Those would give you chisels, certain things that you could cut away wood,
But not
and something you
smith's
could use
tools?
to smith's tools. You could certainly smash things.
How
with
much
it.
of a gap you
don't
say?
want to smash.
With
Mhm.
looking at what Aaron is holding, it's the gap is just enough that you can get your fingers underneath, and as he's been pulling, you can see essentially the threaded outline of large enough to be a hatch or a trapdoor, but almost carved out of where the hardwood is lined with itself.
I'm gonna get into a deep squat and just see if
I
some
think-
brute force
yeah,
will
I'm wondering
just,
if we can just-
unjam it.
Yeah.
Strong.
You know,
Just
somehow
wrench
you just have like kunk, kunk, and pull.
Actually, would Chauncey would Chauncey get his little fingers?
Drill, baby, drill.
He could try. He certainly would be an excellent door stopper for this.
Yeah.
If you can't get it, let me know. I will help you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I can put you back into it.
Honestly, as you just go down, put your fingers into the ledge and lift, there's a
Strength
crackling of,
standard.
Oh,
but it does open, and immediately, cold, wet air kind of pushes out,
oh.
and that musky smell that had been in the in the entire home, now much heavier.
Does it?
Oh, this is gonna be gross.
Does it smell like the? Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
So, we're down near the tram
Mhm.
here. Are we anywhere near water? Any like the harbor or?
Oh, very much. You are
Okay, like,
you're
we're right
near
there,
the ri-
right?
You are maybe if we had to go into city block terms, 3 blocks from the
Okay,
river
okay.
itself.
We
Cool.
need a map of
So-
the
I
know, that's too
adventure.
big
This
of
is
a
too
map.
big.
Zoom in, enhance. Okay.
Just start doing this.
Looking, I'm above it. I'm assuming it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
How far does it go down? And what do I see?
From what you can see, there is a ladder that leads down into. It looks like the beginning of maybe a root cellar. The ladder goes down another 3/4 of a floor, making this a full 2.5 stories.
Oh my god, I saw on.
But the walls look as though, or at least the section of the walls that you can see from here, look as though they've been reinforced with wood planks and are being pushed up and held against with cross support.
I have a question for you, DM.
Mhm.
I'll be blunt about it. Does it smell like a dead body?
Great question.
It does not.
Okay, well, there's that.
I
I
could.
don't think he's dead down there. At least not that I'm sniffing, but whatever that smell is, it's probably unpleasant.
I'll climb down. And I'm actually gonna reach my hand up to Duathi. Do you want to
Uh-huh.
come see if you see anything down here?
Yeah.
Alright, so as you're climbing
Use
down,
that spell slot.
So from where you were, you saw the ladder going down, but there was sections that you weren't fully able to see. Are you just climbing down and offering your hand, or?
I mean, first I'll, however the orientation is, like I'll get down, scan,
Sure.
and then offer my hand.
Give me a
scan
perception
first.
check.
Okay.
Sorry, how deep did this appear to go?
Maybe half a floor. It's
Okay.
Not big.
6 feet deep.
26.
Sweet.
This is my wisdom check dice.
Yay!
2 investigation.
In the dark down here, you were seeing everything in grays, blacks, whites.
Love it.
Looking about, you can see it is very clearly a DIY project. Somebody had been putting this together. The floor is still mostly mud with slats of wood put down. Looks like the digging of this had been done, but the reinforcement had just really started. It's not very big. It's maybe 6 feet across.
Oh.
It is a small space. But as
Perfect size for a body.
you are looking about, you can see all the corners wet, and then you see a large. At first, in this light, just looks like a gray rock. But as you peer at it
No.
closer, you see it is a damp and wet blanket. And there are two eyes
No.
staring out at you
Oh.
as it shakes,
Oh, he's so scared.
and they blink. And we are going to take a break there.
Oh, what?
It's a ghost!
You expect us to take an intermission like that?
We are going to take a 10-minute intermission.
I need to. I got the nerves.
Yes!
We're going to be right back, everyone.
I'm
We're
so
gonna
in.
take a 10-minute intermission. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Locked himself in a bunker. Did not see that one coming.
And welcome back, everyone. We hope that you enjoyed your break. We certainly enjoyed ours.
Enjoy is such a word for we all hastily ran around going, got water and panicked.
Oh, and I forgot to bring my water back in. Well, never mind.
Gosh,
It's all
darn
right.
it.
No, talk about the
Emmy,
Thank
get
you,
it.
Duathy. Bringing it back in a skeleton.
Water
Ghost.
ghost.
Yeah.
Water ghost.
Fairly literally.
Yeah.
Oh, spooky water ghost.
Give it me.
Yep, that
Anyway,
was amazing.
stay hydrated, everyone. It's super important.
Hydration Nation.
Players.
Yeah, what? Scared, poor scared baby.
This is
us.
homophobic. On Pride Month.
Also,
You're
it took
scared.
me
I
like
can't
5
get.
minutes into the show to realize that there were rainbows coming
Yeah.
out of the skull, and
Yeah.
I almost was like,
Yep.
and then I was
Interrupt
like, I
the show,
can't
fashion.
interrupt. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
Back in Dunley's basement. Icon. As you are staring at what is very clearly a person wrapped in a soaking wet blanket, you can see now their head is covered as well in this wrap, and just the two eyes are peering out, and the whole thing begins to shake.
I think to Aaron, and I say, pause everything up there. The hand that I was using to reach up towards Duathy, I'm gonna bring down and just say, are you Dunley? It's okay. And I'll get a little closer.
As you step a little closer, you see this form back up, and you just hear, no. Who are you?
My name is Icon. I'm Icon Liss. One of your friends, if you are Dunley, one of your friends sent us to help find you. They were worried.
Doesn't seem to respond. He's just staring.
I'm going to ask one of my friends. Is it big enough for 3 people down here?
Oh.
Sorry.
It would be crowded.
Okay.
You're basically in actually about 6 foot by 6 foot room.
Over. You don't need to say anything, but maybe shake your head yes or no. Are you Dunley?
I'm Dunley.
Why are you down here?
With the
Who?
what? I don't rightly know. Are you?
I'm just a dude trying to figure. Just trying to figure out what's going on here, just like you are. A lot is going on right now that we don't understand. But I'm not with anyone.
Give me a persuasion.
I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude.
I'm just a
We're all
guy.
dudes. Hey.
Why? Persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
7. This is not a persuasion die, even though that's a charisma. That's
That's-
why.
Yeah, bro, it's wisdom die.
That's your wisdom die.
He continues to sit there, unmoving. Listen, whatever you're gonna do, just do it quick, all right?
Okay, and I'll slowly reach into my bag.
As you reach, you see his eyes close, and just
I'm gonna pull out some rations. A ration. And I'm gonna get as close to him. My red flags are going off so hard. I'm gonna get as close to him as possible to reach out and set it down.
as he sits there, just waiting for something to happen.
Icon, what's happening?
Eventually, he opens his eyes and looks down at the ration on the floor.
You're probably hungry. And cold. And wet.
You see a hand reach out from underneath the blanket, just grab hold of the dried meat and pull it under.
Good.
You can see a motion as the blanket moves up towards his chest, and then you just hear.
I'm gonna verbally out to the group. We're okay. I think I have Dunley. I know I have Dunley.
Okay.
He's nervous.
Is he hurt?
Are you hurt?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Cindy sent us.
Oh, God, Cindy.
She's okay. So is Ryder.
Oh, thank you all. Whoever else is there with you, thank you. I'd really like to get out of this hole now.
Yeah.
I'll reach out my hand. I'm bad at this, I'm sorry. And I'll just kind of help guide him.
As he stands up, you see him kind of wince as it takes a bit of extra motion to get standing.
How does his musculature feel?
As you can see, he's mostly now wrapped in still a very dirty blanket. Looking down, you can't see much except for one arm, which still looks fairly sturdy.
Okay.
But yeah, he doesn't look terribly malnourished or anything like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna think to Aaron. See if he has fresh clothes in his room upstairs.
I was going to actually go look for a
I
blanket.
was gonna run a bath.
So yeah, I'll just guide him towards the ladder and be below
Okay.
him to support.
Have we been able to hear any of the conversation?
You've heard a little bit of
Like
the
little bits.
echoings,
Okay.
but now as you kind of pull back and you can see Icon guiding a, now in the light, incredibly disheveled, dirty face, wet, matted hair, and he smells horrible.
Yeah, I'll go upstairs and I will look for a fresh change of clothes.
Yeah.
As well as any type of anything that looks like it would be something familiar to him, not necessarily like something to ground him in his space once more.
Sure.
Whether that be anything personal up there.
Aside
Hats or-
from the clothes, yeah, you're able to find a nice pair of fresh socks, full pants, everything. You don't really see too much additional accoutrement from there,
Okay.
but you are able to put together a fresh set of clothing.
Okay. I'll just, if the mattress is movable, I'll bring that down with me too.
Sure. As you reach over, it is it's movable, as most mattresses are, a
Yeah,
bit
just
unwieldy for the one. But
Yeah, I don't want him sitting on the floor anymore.
sure, you are able to see the sheets and blankets you could pull
Yeah.
off. And as Dunley steps out, he looks over and says, "Close the blinds. Close the shutters. Blinds. Close them, please."
I got it.
Yeah.
I
And
send
then
a mage hand for one and go for the other with my own.
And
I'm Andy. We're so sorry we scared you at all. We, like I believe Icon said, we know Cindy, and she was very worried about you. Do you have a bath? Would you like me to draw you a bath?
I've got a wash bucket in the back there, as he
Okay.
gestures towards the sort of washroom area and kitchen.
Okay.
I could put on a fire or help
No,
clean
no,
it
no,
up.
no, don't light a fire.
Okay.
He's-
okay.
You seem like you don't want to be found by them. Is it the Order, or...
I don't
The...
I don't think. No, I don't think so. No.
Well, let's settle
Yeah.
a little. Do you want some
What?
tea?
That would be nice.
Okay.
What?
I have peppermint.
What's happened? Has the how were the fires?
The fires are out. The city is poorly damaged. The canals are empty.
Dunley, you've been missing for a number of days. I'm not sure if you're fully aware of how much time has passed, but
I imagine. I figured at least 2.
While everyone's talking, I've put the mint. I've found a mug, put the mint in a mug, poured water in it, and hand it to Finn to warm up.
Right, as it's handed to me, I just heat it up as I pass it to Dunley, and then as I hand it to him, I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder and try to dry at least part of this blanket
Nice.
again with.
You brought clothing and blankets. He's takes a seat on the floor, and he takes the mug, and as the blanket begins to dry, he takes a sip and just. Oh, that's good.
How about before we bombard you with questions, we answer any questions you might have?
What happened?
What's the
Is it
last you
safe?
remember?
The fires, explosions, the chaos, and so I couldn't do anything, and but then I needed to hide. Do you, did they, who was it that did this?
We're not sure. We have suspicions.
Are they gone? Are they all gone?
They
We
seemed
watched
to be.
some of them leave, at least,
We dispatched of a few.
and the others that we saw perished.
do you know who they are? Specifically, I know this is. I want to put your mind at ease, so in order to do that, I need to know if you have knowledge of the Dark Beacon.
No,
Okay.
Insight check.
Mm-hmm.
roll it.
Me too.
Thinking,
Mm-hmm.
do we need honesty?
Now, let's
I think.
give him space first.
I don't think it's a matter of admission. I think it's a matter of retention.
11.
24.
He seems genuinely puzzled by the name. I know you know my friend Cindy. Who are all of you?
We're her interim employer, in a sense, as the canals are, well, out of water.
We're kind of. We're a group that ended up together, that came here.
Got caught up in...
Yeah,
Yes.
we're not from here, but just
and you
happened to
said
be here.
You dispatched some of them.
some.
Well,
Well, we could.
Are you God? Are you?
no,
Are
we
we
just
Guard.
guard.
I heard God too.
No,
Like,
we.
well,
Same
thank you,
reaction.
but-
Are you Order?
No.
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 We are.
We're
Helpful.
order adjacent sometimes,
Yeah.
just like anybody else is.
We're helping. That's all.
we basically saw what was happening and tried to figure out how the water was stopped and what
Yeah.
we could do, and ended up in the
The water stopped.
yeah.
It was the flow forge.
So that's how we ended up in the flow forge.
They were at the flow forge.
Oh,
What? I'm so sorry. I know it's very scary when you're suddenly in a situation where everything is changed and all that. I'm going to get down. Is he seated or is standing?
he's seated on the floor amongst a pile of blankets.
I'm gonna get the crisscross applesauce across from him. I know this is all sort of probably very disorienting, so if you need to take a break, it's okay. My name is Dewati, and it helps to know. And you said you needed to hide?
At least I thought I did.
From just the everything happening?
I thought maybe they were coming for me.
Why would they do that?
I think that I was a part of them.
Oh. Okay.
I'll put my hand on his shoulder.
Well,
Did you...
Well,
Were you meant to help them?
I don't know.
the fact is,
I'm
you
doing it
did
gently.
not. You did not help
Yeah.
them. You came and hid instead, and well, you have every right to fear these people. And
They're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
as far as we know,
I mean, it's been 3 days and the guard and deacons have been searching and don't seem to have found anyone.
I'm going to reach out and just, if I can, put his hand in my hand and just sort of, rub it a little bit.
I'll also kind of sit on the ground and kind of have Chauncey come up.
Okay.
Baby.
And
We're in a cuddle puddle.
I'll give them
Yeah.
space.
Okay, what makes you think that?
About a month ago, I started seeing this woman. She's really nice. She, I mean, I'd seen her from afar for a while, but we started talking and was really happy. About 2 weeks ago, I was invited to a party, and I met some people that were very friendly, very just welcoming, and started talking about our lives and what we felt how things were going. It was nice to talk to people who actually wanted to listen, and then I just kept going to these I thought they were house parties.
Same people every time?
For the most part, I didn't go to too many. It was the third one that they all just felt very the same, overly friendly and welcoming. It was nice the first 2 times, but the third time, anyways, one of them. No, they the night before the explosion, I told them I couldn't go. I was feeling ill. But I saw one of them afterwards, and he smiled at me and he said, he didn't say hello. He just smiled and he said, goodbye. It put chills down my spine, and then shortly after that,
What did they look like, this person that smiled?
he was small, middle-aged. He was a gnome.
Oh no.
So friendly, and he.
Do you know his name?
I don't.
Is it Caston?
Yeah, that was it.
He worked at the Skytrap.
Yes, he did. He. Like I said, they were nice. He let me ride for free. He cut my commute to nothing.
Dudley, this is wonderful for us to help you with. I know it can be scary to piece these things together. Who was the woman who invited you to a party? This seems like it's rather important to your story, and I want to understand you as best I can. You don't have to say anything
No,
too
it's-
intimate, but tell me,
You're not in
Help.
any trouble.
help us paint a picture with this.
It was Rosalind.
Okay?
She worked at the one of the fruit stalls in the open market.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I always had a bit of a fancy for her, but
Mm-hmm.
one day she brought me some fruit after work, and we started talking, and I thought I was the luckiest man.
Mm-hmm. It's nice to be noticed.
It's nice to be alive. And while I can't speak to your taste in women, you do have good instincts.
Well, and then when she came afterwards, that's when I knew I had to hide.
She came back.
She came here.
Yeah.
What did she come here for?
I imagine for me,
I think
they
if you
knew I didn't. When everything was going off, I thought, well, this couldn't be it's just a coincidence that Caston fellow had said that, but then I remembered hearing some of the things that were being said at these parties of how a life is meaningless unless you do something with it, and
perhaps death is freedom.
that's when it was things like that I realized I maybe shouldn't be there, but
You made a good choice.
when I was piecing all this together that night, I figured there was nothing I could do. The tram was shut, the bridge was gone, and I thought I should just be safe. And I was sitting on my bed. There was a knock on the door, and I looked. I looked out from the window, and it was her with two other people. people in these blackened cloaks, and that's when I hid. And I didn't leave. I didn't leave after that.
Can I show you something and ask if it looks familiar? I'm just sort of curious how much you saw. You are doing so good. You are being so very helpful, and you're going to be okay. Alright? You've made it, and the scary part is over, and you're gonna be okay now, okay?
I'm gonna reach into my pouch and get the little, the charm, the symbol of the dark beacon.
Did anyone have anything like this?
Didn't look quite like that, but I recall seeing Rosalind had something like that.
Okay.
It was the second party, and I wanted to take a break, and so I went up to her room and just sat for a little bit, and I got curious. I just looked around for a bit, and she had some jewelry.
Okay.
She had something like that.
You're just sort of confirming what we were figuring. You're doing so good.
You were right. On the night of the attack, there wasn't anything you could have done to help, but you can help a lot of people right now.
How?
The city has been under lockdown since the attack, and the deacons are here. The people are scared. No evidence or suspects have been gathered to our knowledge, and everyone we know that would have the kind of info you have is dead. Or gone.
We're gone.
So you're saying there might still be more of them?
Not here.
They've made their mark here.
There was one man who left.
Did
Everyone
you-
else is gone.
Did you ever meet a man named Corin Mull?
No?
Okay.
I have a feeling that's
I
the
think
name
he
he
just-
gave us. Like
I'll
it's
use-
a title.
I'll cast Silent Image to kind of conjure up roughly how I remember his face and torso, like a bust of Corrin.
No, he doesn't look familiar to me.
He might have come in just for
Good.
this.
Well, in that
These-
case, it's not anyone who knows you.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So
very
you're
good.
okay.
These other people that were at the party, were they all like us, like middle class workers, or were there some nobles and
I didn't know most of them, and we didn't really talk a lot about them.
What did they talk
just their
about?
purpose?
Yeah, like sort of general grandiose. We talked a lot about me.
Yeah.
Think they were interested in, growing their group and all.
Did they want you to join? Like, did they ever actively ask you to commit?
Not really. It seemed more of like they kept inviting me back and saying how wonderful it'll be to have more friends in the fold, and
Yeah.
I think at this point you've done a very good job, and I know we probably have a whole bunch of questions for you. Do you want to take a second and get a little bit warm and maybe get some sleep, and then we can talk more later? Or
I'd
do
like
you
to
want
clean
know
up.
more?
I don't know if I could sleep.
It's alright,
We'll get some. Can you do a whole pail of water? with your thingy, making it warm?
Yeah, I mean, we
Could you help clean the pot and stuff?
all of the above.
Yeah.
Let us help take care of you in your home and get you comfortable. Would you like us to let Cindy or Ryder know you're okay and see if they'll come? A familiar face?
Yeah, maybe one of them can come stay with you.
It would be really nice to see them.
I think they'd really like to hear that you're alive and well.
Yeah.
I suppose I can wash up, upstairs. Please don't leave.
Oh,
I'll be right outside the door the whole time.
Okay.
You're doing, again, I know it's scary, the sort of, I know.
I can send a message to Cindy from right here as we fix up some stew.
and I've helped clean up far worse. So,
Alright.
I'll kind of help close the hatch and maybe, if anything kind of broke while we were forcing it open,
Mhm.
kind of make it look even
It seems
again.
like it's mostly like a pressure fit.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
and yeah, it closes up nicely. Dunley stands up from the blankets and goes into the back, picks up a bucket of water, grabs his clothes from the floor, and right. I won't be long.
Yeah, we'll be here.
I'm going to go up and sit right outside the door, okay? So if you need anything, you just go, hey, Duwati, and then I'll come right on in, and it's okay.
it's one big room up there, Duafi. We'll just sit on the stairs.
I'll
I
sit on the
think.
stairs then, because
Okay.
I'll then be right there, and yeah, it'll be totally okay.
Thank you. And he heads upstairs.
Just sit on the like towards the middle of the stairs and just sort of. Is there like a vase or something in the kitchen?
No.
Can one of you get a cup from? Can one stage whisper?
Yeah.
Can one of you get a cup
I'll
from
go
the
get-
kitchen?
Another mug since I found where
Okay.
they were.
I'm going to take it and take one of the flowers from the top of my staff and put it on the inside and just grab
Yeah.
the little.
Put that in the center of the table.
Okay. And I'll start, like, getting rid of the old food and kind of cleaning the plate and such, just kind of tidying.
I'm listening like a
You
hawk
hear
to the upstairs.
the curtains immediately close,
Mhm.
and you begin hearing the sound of a sponge being dunked into a bucket. And then crying.
I make a few more flowers.
I'd like to take a seat at the kitchen table, assuming there is something of
Yeah.
the sorts.
A single small table with one chair.
And just quickly jot out a message and cast sending to Cindy. Checking in from your friend, not as your employer. Dunley is alive. Shaken, but well, could use company.
Very quickly. Well, that's wonderful. I'm on my way.
It's on the way.
Okay. I know now is not the right time to ask him more questions, but I am wildly curious if he got pulled into this, if he has any involvement with what was on the Fairbanks.
He has access to these ships and their cargo. I can see why he'd be a valuable asset too.
They might have wanted him to do things like that. Maybe.
Right. The attendee at the Skytram,
Yeah.
let's maybe not put that in his head.
No.
No, we don't have to talk to him about it now, but it is something that we should look into a little bit more.
We need to know who was at those parties.
I sort of want to know if that person, who was it that was missing from the party?
Oh,
I have the name written
I
down.
know.
but I have
Oh,
no-
the garden party?
Yeah.
Baron Lucius.
I think he
Valder.
would have I think if he saw somebody of that
Yeah.
note or of that status, it would have been
Would it?
memorable.
But also, he was taken by the fire.
Yeah.
That's the
Or-
story.
Or
Right.
Yeah.
I think as if we're kind of all gathering around Finn at the table. Well, at least those of us who are not.
I'll bring the big
Busy.
pot that's gross over to Finn. Be like, help.
Oh, this is gonna take a long time. I could light the fire with a snap, but I will respect his wishes and I'll just start trying to bake this cauldron with prestidigitation.
I'll add water to it to see if it helps loosen up the old stew.
Come for the intrigue.
Prestidigitation?
Stay for the dishes.
it's like Power Wash Simulator, but D&D.
Yeah.
It's just prestidigitate everything.
Well, like heat up the metal first so we could like
I
scrape
can do
it.
that.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
You
really
can-
want to use the
yeah,
spell
nah.
slot on it, though.
We got time. We got time.
It's about as wise as using Zone of Truth on a seagull. So.
I think I might be able to probe his memories, though depending on his mental state.
Let's
let
let him.
I understand tact is important. We'll
I
get
know.
more information when he is sound of mind and not traumatized, but if I understand the spell correctly, I might be able to grab scenes or images from the parties he attended and will be able to piece together a guest list of some sort.
That would be great, because then you could take that list to the people at the church or the deacons and
Right.
tell them it was these people exactly, and then they'll let the city be okay.
I think that would be a wise primary objective here, is to convince him that is worth not just his time but the city's well-being for him to go talk to the authorities, and that we need to put his mind at ease that we would back him as innocent here because he has every right to fear what we feared.
Well,
Well,
we
if-
saw the state that he was in.
If he doesn't have a tooth,
Right. I was going to ask about that, but I
I
don't want
don't
to
think
it
scare
would have
him.
I
gone
also
that
think he
far.
would have remembered. You
Yeah.
know, I think
Yeah.
it would have come up. Oh, and at this party, they also took out one of my teeth.
No,
I
I
feel like that would have been like a first conversation part.
Yeah. Also, putting the image of his crush's jaw dissolving off, maybe not the info he needs right now.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot that we need from him, and I do think we should get as much as we can from him before we bring him to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get into any trouble. He won't get into any trouble, right?
I don't think that he could.
No.
He has no.
He didn't do anything.
He got out at the right moment, though.
He never really got in, it seems like.
Yeah.
Just kind of skirted by it.
Yeah.
But he has far more info than we do, and if he cooperates, I don't think the deacons would look at him and see somebody capable of blowing up a city.
Confirmed cast down though.
Hmm. If he can do that for everyone on the suspect list, he is very valuable to the authorities.
It also makes him very dangerous.
So it makes him very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I guess, what I mean is at some point.
Can we put his secrets into the bag of holding?
I could.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But can we put them back?
I can't remove them from his memories. But if I work with him to recall his evenings in attendance with this group as clear as he can, I can then retrieve those from my own mind and stash them away for some time to corroborate.
Mm-hmm. Let's give him time to recuperate and hang out with friends, and we'll be bodies in the space
Mm-hmm.
try to be jovial, I guess.
Don't be
also
too
do-
weirdly nice to him.
No.
No, not nice, but well, nice. Oh God.
I also
I'm so
don't
bad at
know
this.
how in danger he is because all the people who might know him might be dead.
But what if they're not?
Yeah.
Some of them were just running.
But did they run out? Wasn't the point death?
For some.
Not if
For some, I think
Yeah.
it might have been, there might be different levels of status within this cult. It is quite
Sure.
possible that, yes, many of them left the city to escape capture, but there might have also been certain members that were told to stay behind to be inside moles to the cult for how effective their efforts were. And it's possible Rosalind might still be here.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
my hunch.
I mean, I don't trust anybody right now out there. Not everyone was involved there.
No.
So we just need to protect him at all
Mhm.
costs. Not all costs, you know what I mean. I'm feeling this was not what I was expecting
No,
to find.
this is honestly
don't think it's what any of us were expecting.
both far more innocent, helpless, and valuable than I was expecting to find here. But protecting someone, investigating a list of suspects against their own. Look, maybe that's what you do as guards, but this feels like a job for the authorities. At least the long
Yeah.
term here.
Long term.
I think our job should be to get him to said authorities
Yeah.
safely
Yes.
and convince him to cooperate.
But also get any information we can for our own
Yeah,
mysteries.
yeah. How they recruit. Why, maybe.
I mean, okay. I want to be helpful, and that's sort of what I do, and I'll keep being helpful as long as I can. But if this is the job of the authorities, then shouldn't. Is it our job to continue to try and find these people? Is that what we're going to do now?
I don't know if
Because I'm sort of,
I know, it's all getting kind of jumbled up. I don't think our plan was ever to try to find these people. I think it's
Find
more
a death cult in the middle of the frontier.
it's more we keep encountering them and,
And
there are other things that are possibly involved in what they do that we are interested in following through on.
And
Okay.
currently, former top priorities are no longer possible, at least until some
We can
evidence or
leave.
suspects or something is brought to the
So I-
authorities' attention. So,
Yeah.
I
it's
have
more-
a solution then.
yes.
While it seems we are walking between two stories being told, perhaps our purpose then is to keep them from converging.
How do you mean?
We told our Calder to be cautious of who gets their hands on on illicit substances,
Mhm.
for the very reasons that we were hoping that Doc Becken did not use core to detonate. And our purpose for the time, while the authorities suss this out, is to keep them from converging and keep the Becken away from core at all costs.
You're suggesting let Dunley help Lark with his vetting process? Or.
No, I'm saying we
It's our duty now, knowing what we know about who is involved. We're in a unique position to keep the flow of core from heading to the Dark Beacon, hopefully.
But the Dark Beacon doesn't even need the core. Look what the damage they did without it.
They also... we wouldn't know.
I'd rather do what I can to keep them from getting it than
place it on chance that somebody with knowledge of it sees their purpose and takes a liking to it.
So we make sure that Calder doesn't get any core back in his hands. Because I don't trust that he won't just resell it to a high bidder, and
No.
if they're doing this in secret, we don't know.
Yeah.
Since it's been a few minutes, I just want to like listen. Is he still crying?
That seems to have subsided.
I'm gonna.
You hear the sounds of the bucket still being used.
I'm just gonna knock on the rafter. You okay up there?
I'm fine. Just finishing up. We'll get dressed here in a moment.
Take your time. We called Cindy. She's on her
the way.
way.
Thank you.
Of course.
I'm gonna go into the pantry and see. I doubt it. There's any food that's not completely rotten.
Looking in, you are met with some moldy bread. But also some, looks like dried meats. And a separate loaf of bread that seems not stale, but not fresh.
Okay. I doubt that we passed a market or anything that's like right outside. No.
We can go get him a fixer.
I don't think that will help.
Just what he needs right now.
Put him
Well-
to sleep at least.
I will take some of the dried meat, I guess, and put it on a plate and try and make it look nice.
Dwathy's charcuterie board.
Yeah, I'm plating it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Little fan,
Rustic.
little bit of spin. Freaking, all I also have is dried meat, like hardtack. There's nothing in my pockets. Okay.
I'm going to actually just unlock the door, but like lock the door behind me. I'm gonna sit kind of on the corner to wait for Cindy.
Sure.
So he has like just so also I'm in eyesight of his window, just in case he's.
Okay.
Yeah, I was getting nervous.
Actually, I'd like to not fully go outside, but just peek out the window and see if anyone is watching the house.
Give me a perception check.
Failed me last time.
Come on, the dice are
Alright, that one
spicy
didn't wanna
over
come
here
out.
tonight.
They are spicy.
Okay, 22.
I don't like that.
I know, he does it all the time.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't like it. Yeah. Remember at Lord Janup's house when someone heard me saying things?
Somebody did.
You don't see anyone in this area. It's not off the beaten path, but it certainly isn't a busy thoroughfare. You don't see anyone walking about. You see Icon standing at the corner. At one point, as you look down towards where the Skytram is, you see somebody walk past the open street from one building to the other, heading in that direction.
Okay.
That's it.
I don't like your shenanigans, sir.
Unless the residue came off this cauldron pretty much to the touch, I would have given up on it pretty quickly.
It looks like it wasn't that it was just left there. It looks like
It was burnt.
Yeah, like burned into the.
yeah.
Yeah, probably gonna
Yeah,
want to
that
just replace
cauldron's
that.
done.
It's called seasoning.
I'm gonna pivot to. I'll pull a piece of parchment out of my bag and carefully fold it, and then tear it into little rectangles, and I'll very carefully, neatly write each of our names, and then I'll also write one for Dunley as like little name tags. Because I imagine it's a little overwhelming to have a bunch of strangers in the house, and I'll kind of like see if I can just like slide it into the pocket in a way that's legible for me.
Sure. It pops out.
What are you doing?
Oh, I realized I didn't give him my name. I think you might be the only one who gave a name, and...
I did.
Oh,
He
okay.
did.
Okay, well...
So you're putting your
Oh.
name on your shirt?
Yeah.
Outside.
So he
Yeah.
knows who you are.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Just to, make it a little... I can't imagine he's gonna remember all of this, so...
That's very cute of you.
I just don't know what else to do.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm not good at that. And I don't want to start writing all over his walls, which is really what I
Definitely
want to
don't
do.
do
So,
that.
write something he'll find constructive.
I think in this moment, ignorance is bliss.
I can. At this point, you see, coming from the direction not from the Skytram, Cindy heading towards you. At a pretty... she's jogging. As she waves. Hi! I was hoping...
Let's.
I realized that, I didn't know where you were.
Oh my gosh.
I assumed this first. I was hoping, because this is the only place that I told you to go.
Yeah, it's.
He's
let's
okay.
get inside first.
Okay.
He's okay. And then I'll just like knock on the door.
As she, with the confidence of someone who has been there before, just opens it and goes inside and immediately starts heading upstairs.
He's washing right now.
They're
Oh.
friends.
Is that Cindy? I'm presentable. Cindy?
I close the door.
As she rushes upstairs, you just hear Dudley and a thud of a body hitting a body.
It's weird if all 5 of us are like hanging out in the front.
Let's just go into the kitchen.
Yeah, this will make it less weird, and I'll just hand the name tag to
Why
Ike.
is it less weird?
Did you forget my?
No, it's for him. It's for him.
So
It's.
I don't.
We just said our. Did you not
He
introduce
didn't.
yours?
Yeah, but like also, just this way
Okay,
it won't feel like strangers.
You just hear the soft murmurings of, I couldn't find you. I didn't know where. No, I'm all right. I'm all right. They're going back and forth amongst each other.
Also, I'm pretty sure their parties didn't have name tags, so that'll differentiate our super weird, super interested in him questions and super nice.
Finn. I just fold up my name tag.
Did I misspell it?
How did you spell it, John?
He spelled it ICAN.
It's
Yeah, I'm
like
trying to-
Survivor when people don't know how names are spelled and they just write them how they think they're spelled.
Aiken. You got it right, but I think the more normal we are, the better.
The less we treat him like a wounded animal, the more he will realize that he is not in such danger anymore.
Well, look, I didn't go to a lot of parties, and the first day of class we always did this, so to me this is not
No,
weird.
I know you had good intentions. It's just
This
not.
is-
It's not necessary, and almost weirder if we have our names on our chest in this sort of situation.
It's also
I
not
guess.
a party. This is.
This is.
This
We
is-
rescued a man in a bunker.
Have you ever? I mean, if you may have been through it or known someone who been through something very hard or very scary, and you just need to be calm for them.
I mean, outside of all of the scary stuff we've done together, not exactly.
When something happens in someone's life that's, I know you've probably had things in your life that, really made you very upset, and sometimes when those things happen, you just have to make sure that you can be there to be calm and make people, if you feel and act like everything's okay, everyone will start to feel the same thing, because we're kind of like that and we listen for those kinds of feelings. So
My
That's
father
what
acted like
we're doing.
everything was okay, but it wasn't. But I know what you mean.
There's different kinds of acting like it's okay.
Acting
Yeah.
like it's safe.
Yeah.
Our, a butler did that for me. So he didn't bring me a name tag, but he did bring me journals and other things. So I guess that's kind of where my head was at.
things that comforted you.
Mm.
He's got one thing so far. I think,
Cindy.
yeah.
I could send another message to Ryder, but
I think Cindy can get him, or we can, and
I think he's close
Okay.
by.
We can get it later. We don't need to use your magic for that.
Cool, thanks.
At that point, Cindy comes downstairs. Dunley not with her. Thank you all so much.
I just kind of broke into his house.
Yeah, we're sorry about that.
We
But I
didn't
think-
break anything.
No, I didn't break anything. I
No.
just got in without permission.
It's a wellness
You know,
check.
I think that I think no matter how it happened, I'm glad that it happened. It's good to see him. I'm gonna take him to Ryder's. I think he could use being around friends.
I don't
Yeah.
think he should be here
yeah,
in
I
any
think-
case. So that's probably a good thing.
How much did he just tell you?
Not much. I didn't. I mean, I asked a lot of questions, but I didn't. I could tell when he was closing up, so I figured I shouldn't.
Yeah. He's going through a lot right now. I think a seismic world change for him.
He's been through. Yeah.
He is going to need to probably talk to the authorities with what he knows.
Oh.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything
No,
wrong.
He's
actually, he did everything right.
He has good taste in his friends. Some
Yeah.
not so good people tried
did-
to befriend him, and well, he narrowly avoided getting mixed up in all of this. And I'll just gesture towards the window.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Did he ever tell you about his love life?
Yeah, I knew that he had things were going well for him finally.
Let's just say he had his heart broken. And maybe keep an eye out for the one that broke
Wait.
his heart.
That. Wait, what?
That's
That's all you need to know right
all
now.
you need to know right
no.
now.
Was that?
You know Rosalind?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know Rosalind, but I.
Have you
But you
seen
know
her
of her.
lately?
Yeah.
When?
Well. She was one of the people I asked if she had seen Dunley lately.
She's still in the city.
Yesterday I asked her.
Is she still working at the
Fruit
the
cart?
fruit cart?
I don't know.
She
I had met. That's.
cannot be trusted.
I mean,
Don't tell her that you found Dunley.
Don't tell anyone.
Okay.
We might actually need to go someplace that's not his friend's house tonight.
Yeah, I don't. Now I'm like, I don't think he should leave here unless disguised.
We could do that, and we do
It
have a safe
could
place.
Wait,
Learn
is he
him-
still? What? So.
So sorry. I know we're being.
Are you saying
cryptic.
Rosalind?
she's
She's-
bad.
She's.
She was part
dangerous.
of.
She's bad for Dunley.
Bad for the city,
Mm-hmm.
or at least friends with people that are very bad for the city.
Okay.
So if she's
Okay.
still here, it's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
She can't know.
No, but. Okay. No,
It's
she doesn't.
better
She
that-
doesn't.
Honestly, it's better that she thinks he's missing.
Mm-hmm.
Dead even.
Right, okay. I can do that. No, I'm not even going to do
No.
that.
Who are we? We didn't even speak.
As she turns to you, I think that now might be a good time for me to put myself in your hands.
I think,
Because
As-
I think I am officially out of my element.
I know. We're
and as
so
much
sorry.
as we wanted to keep you out of trouble, it seems that Dudley's found himself in some. And we can protect all of you.
Yeah, we want to make sure that you're safe.
Is Ryder in danger?
Unlikely.
Yeah.
I don't-
Unless he went to the same meetings, then likely no. He's probably
I don't-
fine. Business is
Ryder-
normal.
As far as I know, he didn't.
Then,
But Dunley didn't. Meetings?
yeah.
They were
Parties.
parties.
Or he-
What
Yeah,
they were
like Dunley said he would go off to. For,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
They-
Do you know where?
at Rosalind. At Rosalind's.
Rosalind's.
It was at her house, I remember he said.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we know that she has
If
this
she's-
evidence in her house.
If she's.
Dorothy.
Dangerous.
Mentally, I'll be like, Dorothy, that might be too much.
But if she's dangerous, but she knows I know Dunley,
Yeah.
We are going to
she
make
sits
sure
down
you're
at the
safe.
table.
We are going to make sure you are safe, okay? Protecting people is what I do, and we're going to make sure all of you are okay.
Ultimately, Dunley might have the info that can keep the whole city safe.
Persuasion rolls from both of you.
These guys.
Charisma casters.
I will say, you as a group can actually make this check.
Oh Lord, what's my charisma dice?
Persuasion, I'm
What
How
was that
about
saying?
this one? Because
Oh,
it's
okay.
dark. And it's been bleak.
I was gonna say the one that you
Yeah,
rolled
let's bump
badly
that
with on
up.
your- Oh, I know.
No.
Okay.
Is it there? Okay.
Persuasion
Mm-hmm.
is a 21.
8.
12.
18.
14.
So maybe?
Okay.
I was waiting for that sound. Yep.
The judgment.
As Cindy leans back a little bit, you can see she is tense, has a moment of not relaxation, but her shoulder, a moment of clarity. Whatever you need. And, I think you all could keep us safe. So, I trust you.
We're good at keeping precious things safe, and you and Dunley are precious.
Well, I suppose I can hire you to be my bodyguards.
So let's
Definitely
see.
do not give us any money for anything.
The thought did cross my mind.
So, Dunley, if you could just hurry up the packing, please.
Yeah.
I'm going to think to Aaron. Are we going to take them to the safe house?
Absolutely not.
And as this conversation is happening, it begins to static
Mm-hmm.
and sever.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, it's just the time.
Oh,
okay,
no.
I was like,
I was like, whose nose is gonna start bleeding?
The psychic link that Aaron connects with Aaron's allies has broken due to time.
Thank you. Okay.
Traumatized your cat.
Deep breaths all around.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Listen, we've got allies in the city. Somehow we have safety in numbers, and in some cases we have safety in anonymity. So we'll be fine.
I don't know. Riders is still an option. It's
It's the closest option.
I could make him invisible.
Yeah.
I can also make us harder to detect.
Can't hurt.
At
those
least
sound
for-
wonderful.
At least for a momentary transfer.
Yeah.
We could.
Yeah.
He's nearby. He's just down by Dry Dock 1,
We would all
Yeah.
have to stay there if that's okay.
and
think we
he's.
should.
I mean, he does fight.
And he's
Oh.
part of
Oh.
your crew, friends anyway, right?
But if she knows that was looking for him, I'd imagine that she's seen us all together, the three of us.
I would imagine. You seem close.
Yeah.
I don't think I have his abilities at a level like
With all due respect, Cindy, that will depend on her continued interest in
Yeah.
Dunley.
Oh my god.
And as far as I see it, there's a 50-50 chance of that interest pertaining. So,
We can leverage the odds in our favor.
absolutely.
I mean, he was hidden here. Do you think they might not look here anymore?
That's
As
what-
long as we keep it looking like no one's here.
Yeah.
But
All the windows they were
Yeah.
open and we just closed them.
here's
That's a lot of. Did anyone?
Here's-
I wasn't thinking all
yeah.
espionage and.
There's
We're-
a lot to
Mhm.
consider. We
Either
have
way.
the capabilities of doing this thoroughly, but nothing has to be solved in this exact moment. Let's take a moment and just come up with a plan and work from there, okay?
Here's some thoughts that just popped into my head. We have a few options here. One, try to get him directly to the authorities, to their safety.
There's
He
some
gives-
down by the bridge.
There's some down by the bridge. We can also stay put here or go to Ryder's and wait for Rosalind to eventually come looking.
I don't think we
But-
need to do that.
I think we can catch her off guard otherwise.
That's what I want to
Yeah.
do.
It'd be pretty easy to start a rumor circling. Oh, did you hear?
So
Dunley's corpse washed up on the river. Oh, did you see? No, I didn't see.
I think it might be best that we don't tell Ryder anything at all. And maybe continue hiding Dunley.
Did you already tell Ryder?
Oh, that Dunley's all right. No,
She came right here.
Okay.
I was. Yeah, no.
Okay.
We take him home.
To the safe house.
No. So then we post up here.
I think that's best.
Yeah.
Maybe take him to the authorities. What time is it? It's been like
That's a great question.
At least
'cause
3
gotta be,
hours,
yeah.
so
What time
kind
it
of
is?
early afternoon, maybe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
That leaves us plenty of time to go
We could go to
get
the
him to
bridge.
safety.
Mhm.
How long will he stay invisible if you do that?
Well,
That's not
couldn't
that spell.
we bring one of them here?
We could.
Who can we trust? And
An hour.
An hour. He would be invisible for an hour.
And I've got an hour for us to be a little just less clockable. But we all have to stay close.
But
Those would be best utilized if we were to move him anywhere. In terms of keeping him here, the best I can think of is just posting eyes and watch for some time while we come up with additional
For
plan of action.
for what I'm thinking, if you want to take him to the authorities, it might be best to let them know that you're coming first,
Right.
because then, you know, it won't look like we're going from here to the, like they might not try and follow them and get him out of custody or anything.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more we might actually have to have a meeting of debriefing in order to do this efficiently.
I think if we came to either a deacon or a cardinal or whoever your contact in the church was, with the offering of a witness who has key info, we witnessed the escape of one of the suspects, and he witnessed the recruiting methods, and I think our shared accounts would be very valuable.
And I think they would see to his protection and security as well.
But I agree that
I
just
mean-
bringing a guard to his house is probably not effective.
Think it would put everybody in more danger.
Agreed.
Well,
If some of you go try to talk to somebody, some of us should stay here.
Mm-hmm.
I will stay here.
I can
Um,
as well.
above the table
Mhm.
question. Is there in this world a concept of sanctuary or clemency from the churches of the order? Like if someone were to seek sanctuary, that they could be behind a wall of protection?
Not necessarily. Purely in that is the constant state.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Okay.
With guard training, the experience that I have in the guard, is there some semblance of witness protection from the city guard?
From the city guard, there's protection.
Mm-hmm. But any like specified like protocol or like decision trees around protecting persons of interest that I would either have learned about or been like said, you know, at least educated somewhat on in the time that I served.
In your training, there wasn't a whole lot of protecting of witnesses that
Okay.
for things of this caliber.
Okay.
People who needed protection, absolutely,
Okay.
and the guard would provide that, but there was never any sort of anonymity. There was never a need for it,
Okay.
or at least in the work that you've done.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought maybe it would be possible to transport him up to the church.
I think Dorothy's right that if we prepare
Mhm.
them for his arrival,
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
go a lot smoother, and maybe we can get an escort.
I think that would be pertinent. Yes.
I think an escort also though might draw. if
I
we-
think they
if
would
we
have ways of
safety.
doing it subtly. I think knowing the severity of whom we are delivering, they will have methods and or ways of ensuring that it is done without drawing attention.
Well, Dorothy and I can stay here
Mm-hmm.
if you all want to go.
I think Brother Detrius is the first person that we need to confide in this matter.
I do have one other thought.
Mm.
Do you know how well the captains of the guard of respective outposts and towns would know one another? Because I could send a message to Captain Fury, letting her know we've made progress in our investigation and we're looking for a friendly authority figure here in Venture that she'd
I don't-
recommend.
I don't know how the captains are trained out here.
They might know they might have gotten a whisper of a name. A city of this large compared to River's Meet could be a dozen guard captains for all we know, and Fiere's personal contacts with them could span the width of the Condorflow for all we know. It would be a far stretch to assume that she would be able to aid us in any way. However, should it come to that, it is an option that we could reach out to her. Knowing the history of the city, I have a feeling Brother Detrius and the Cardinal might have connections with persons of the Order with the power to deal with this matter appropriately.
The Cardinal definitely seemed to know what you both were talking about when you were talking about the Dark Beacon and things.
Yeah.
So it would make sense.
All right. So, Church?
Mm-hmm.
We'll find Brother Detrius.
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably refer us. I mean, this is big. He'll probably refer us to the Cardinal and maybe to the Prior.
Whoever is heading the charge on this investigation.
Prior Rookheim, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right, that's the person with the name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we're gonna get probably some FaceTime with him at some point.
Or as lieutenants.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real.
All right. You feel safe here?
Yeah.
You got Chauncey.
I saw some magic stock, so I can send you a message when, or if we make any progress.
Okay.
If there's an emergency and you need to run, Bogdan maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before we leave, I'll establish a connection with one of you. That way we can coordinate from both elevations.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let you to when and if anybody is coming to retrieve Dunley, and how that plan will go. Hopefully we'll be able to confer quickly enough that time is on our side. But I think we have a semblance of a plan, which I approve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I chose right.
Oh God, Cindy. Sorry. Hi.
Cindy.
Well, you're in the thick of it now.
Oh, I am.
Um.
No, I'm not. But you are.
Remember when I so poorly?
No,
Do you understand?
I get it now.
The good
why-
news is, though, that we don't have to keep Locke under surveillance anymore, so he's not a worry currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you?
No,
He's
no,
fine.
no.
Oh.
No.
He's more like a potential partner.
We rarely kill. They
Only-
usually do
only
it
the-
themselves first.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I can.
Let's not
I'm-
scare Cindy more than we already have.
I do have a
Look,
question, a matter of safety for you, Dunley.
Well,
He's
I
upstairs.
can ask Dunley.
For you to pass on to Dunley.
Sure.
Sorry. At these parties, if they passed out any capsules or false teeth or anything of the sort, he doesn't have to know why, but they're dangerous, and you should try to make sure that is disposed of.
Okay.
Give it to us.
See if he has something like that. I can.
Yeah. Or
I-
really anything they gave out at these parties.
Okay.
Also, Dorothy and I can talk to him about it if he comes down, so don't
Right.
worry about it.
Just
Sure.
don't startle him with.
I'll,
I don't know.
I'll talk.
I think
Why
Dorothy
don't
and I
I-
have it handled.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Let him know we're gonna stay here.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit. We might
Yeah.
still leave tonight.
Sure. I'll make sure his bag is packed.
And I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
Aiken's actually very nice. He's a good person.
He's
Um,
really not trying to scare you.
I'm standing right
I know, but you're very nice.
And Cindy stands up and heads upstairs.
You know, I'm also realizing you could probably message that cardinal, but maybe he would be like, "What's this? I'm a cardinal," and
I think
I'm
this
sorry,
involves.
was that a voice?
"Oh, yes, I'm a cardinal."
Also, I can only answer one follow-up question
Yeah,
before the whole
it's-
conversation
no,
fizzles
it's
out.
better
This is
to do it
best.
in person.
He also didn't meet me, so then we have an issue of like
Yeah.
Andy's father
Familiarities.
and
Right,
that
it's
confusion. Yeah.
confusing.
There's a lot of moving parts to this. We're gonna have to coordinate movement.
And it's really hard to be insightful about somebody's motivations over telepathic links. So
Yeah. The three of us can move
Mm-hmm.
freely.
yeah,
Is the church? I mean, it's the whole
Temple,
area. It's the
yeah.
flow forge and the temple. Is that closer to the bridge or to the Skytrail?
It's closer to the bridge.
Hoof it.
I wouldn't mind studying up on a few things before we depart, though. Could we spend an hour just kind of collecting ourselves
Yeah.
prior to departure, the three of us?
I mean, he's waited 3 days down here. I think we could wait an hour.
I think
Curfew shouldn't be for another.
6
Yeah.
hours, maybe 7. So okay. I want to study up on a few things that I'm preparing myself for. Okay. I'll just kind of wander over by the fireplace and just kind of. Is there a mantle?
It's very much a stone in the walls.
Okay, gotcha.
It is a lot more for cooking than decoration.
Okay, cool. I will just kind of. No, you know what? I'm gonna go back over by like the foot of the stairs and just kind of set up my spell book and just kind of thumb through and rehearse each spell that I prepared for a moment of time, just to make sure I really have everything solidified in my head. For hopefully a short rest before we leave. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That'd be great.
So as the 5 of you working out a plan with Cindy and Dunley upstairs, that is where we are going to end tonight's episode.
Just another day that's 3 episodes long.
I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for being here.
Holy cow.
We hope that you had a good time. If you've been enjoying the show, thank you so much. If you haven't been enjoying the show, hi, please enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks for the
Or-
view, I guess.
Or don't watch. I don't know.
But wherever you may be watching, thank you so very much for being here. That we will be back again next week to continue these adventures. If you would like to help support the channel, you can give us a like, follow, wherever that might be. Those are free ways that you can do it. You can also tell all of your friends, people that you think might know this show, or just a random stranger on the street. Just walk up to them and say,
Hey!
check this out.
I said, hey.
If you are looking for a way to support us more financially, you can subscribe to us on Twitch. You can become a member on YouTube, or the best way that you can do so is by heading on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/adventurespack, to become a patron over there. It is never required, but it is always appreciated. We cannot be making this show without the wonderful support of people like you. For those of you who do support us, we're going to be heading on over to our Discord for that post-show hangout. So come, take a listen, see what we have to talk about over there. Otherwise, have a great rest of your week, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
See ya.